When a survey of voters, known as the National Election Study, first began asking about trust in government, Eisenhower was in office. A recession had begun, and the Pentagon was sending military advisors to South Vietnam. At the time, 3/4 of Americans answered that they did. They trusted the government to do the right thing most of the time. But as time wore on and the effects of war, political scandal, and economic distress grew, that trust began to fade. And over the coming decades, trust would plummet. Since 2007, it's never reached higher than 30%. Fast forward to 2020. A pandemic is ripping across the globe, and public trust in institutions is more critical now than ever. As luck would have it, the very organization built to handle a pandemic, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, has managed to buck the downward trend, and according to recent polling, it's kept the trust of 77% of Americans. But that may be tested in coming months, especially after a few major stumbles. There was that early CDC guidance against masks, a widespread testing mix-up, and a February conference call when state health officials cautioned against infected travelers entering the U.S. Just let them go, 2 officials said they were told. But generally, when the world's premier health agency speaks, people listen. And for now, 3 out of 4 registered voters say they trust the CDC more than the White House. One reason is it's meant to operate outside of politics. The mission is to identify and prevent threats, then coordinate and compile a range of data on disease and public health so that we all have a better grasp of what's out there. Independence is a cornerstone, allowing data to be trusted, which is why a directive tucked away in the Department of Health and Human Services is so important. As of July, the Trump administration instructed hospitals to bypass the CDC, sending their COVID-related data directly to a central database run by the administration. Hospital beds, ventilators, treatments. The reasoning is to make the process more efficient, strengthening a health reporting system that administration officials describe as inadequate. But remember, we're talking about trust, and the federal government doesn't have it. What's more, its influence over the CDC threatens to erode the center's own reputation, especially with comments like this.
Literally, I just got off the phone with CDC and I talked about churches. I said, I want the churches to open. And the people want the churches to open, and I think you'll have something come down very soon from CDC.
The CDC is a global organization operating in more than 60 countries. The idea is to beat back disease before it can spread, with the U.S. consistently pouring about $10 billion into total global health funding every year over the past decade. But the organization also relies on local health agencies, and those have taken a beating over the same time frame. Since 2010, local health department spending has dropped by nearly a fifth, with more than 38,000 public health jobs having vanished in the U.S. since the 2008 recession. Those workers are sorely needed now.